Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Kwan. I recently graduated from Maple Grove Senior High and will be going to Harvard University next fall. I'm really excited to share my experience with you guys and everyone in the audience. I'm currently in Seoul, Korea, visiting family and also just taking some time off during the summer before school starts, so that's why I couldn't be there today with you guys. So I'll just get right into it. I'm going to first share with you how I found what my true passion was and how I found my path in high school to ultimately decide and make really big decisions that I still think about today for my future in college. And I don't even know if those decisions are the right ones that I've made, but hopefully my experience will enlighten or maybe even help you on your college application journey. So I'll just get right into it. Both my parents were born in Korea. They majored in STEM here, and physics to be exact. So I've had a science background for all of my life, and thus I took my studies really seriously. But I'd say out of the ordinary. They just not just wanted me to focus on school, but also wanted me to play sports and also play music too. So during high school, I played tennis, cross country skied, ran cross country, and also played soccer. And also they allowed me to play cello starting in 5th grade. And music has been the greatest part of my life thus far, and so cello, I started playing in 5th grade because, funny story, my mom had already started my two older sisters on viola and violin, and thus she wanted to finish the trio and added me as the cello. Well, bam, we have a trio family. And it's been so amazing. I've been a part of Greater Twin Cities Youth Symphonies for an orchestra, and also Artario Chamber Music School for chamber music, like quartets, quintets, and trios. And I've met so many great, talented, and amazing people that are as passionate about music as I am, but also have other interests. All the musicians that I've met have been so driven, passionate, hardworking, and I wouldn't trade the whole experience for anything else. So my sophomore and junior year, I went to a lot of summer camps for cello, working with faculty and students all around the country, and I really saw my cello playing take off during those summer camps. It was a different route than what my oldest sister took, Juhi. She is a biology major in college, and she did internships, research, some science summer camps, which helped her really decide on what kind of path that she wanted to take in college. But in that time, I really focused a lot on cello. And in junior year at the Madeline Island Chamber Music Camp, that's what it's called. Last summer, actually, I decided that I really wanted to try auditioning for universities as a cello performance major. It was a big decision for me because I knew from all around me that music does not pay. Music is not the route if you want a financially stable life. And I honestly did not care that people were saying this, because music was such a big part of my life, and I could see myself doing it for something more than a hobby. So I let my parents know, well, at least my mom know, and she was very gracious and allowed me to pursue my passions in music. So beginning of senior year, I applied to 6 music schools that were also research universities, just in case that I did want to go into music. I would also be able to do other science majors. I wasn't sure if I wanted to become a dual major or dual degree, just wanted to do science or just wanted to do music. And that tension and that my lack of decision making really I pushed it until my last decision. So I auditioned all over the U.S. With my mom. Traveling with a cello is a very new experience because you have to buy a seat for a cello, which is bizarre. Just made 3 people go instead of 2. Anyways, I really liked auditioning because I met a lot of other talented musicians again. I was so inspired when I went to these auditions. I mean, of course, I was scared, but I felt pretty prepared um, because I had been practicing all fall. And a lot of these professors that I auditioned for, I had already worked with them when I visited the universities during the spring or during the fall. Of course, it's not necessary to visit these professors, but having that first name basis and knowing what kind of learning style I have or how I'd respond to his or her teachings is so important for professors to see, does this student have potential to grow? And through it all, I was still in between music or science, music or science. Do I follow my aspirations despite what other people are saying, or do I follow a financially stable route? Um, Perhaps. Um, and luckily, in the end, for both music schools and academic schools, they worked out really well. That I was not expecting any of these acceptances, and I had my rejections as well. I think I got into about half, and I was rejected from about half. Um, and I was faced with a really hard decision that I've been putting off since sophomore year: music or science. And with the decision that I made at Harvard, I was really happy because they do have a great orchestra with a lot of talented musicians that were in NYO, the National Youth Orchestra, that are just as passionate as I am from when I visited there. And I'm planning on taking lessons with the professor there and becoming a part of the music scene through orchestra, chamber music, and I truly want to work hard and see myself even maybe pursuing music after I get a degree in hopefully biochemistry or chemistry. And I was very, very pleased with how it turned out, but I can't thank my parents enough for what they've allowed me to do and allowed me to pursue. It's really hard to know what you want to do for the next 4 years of your life, and it's really not something that's cemented. You can change your major, and for at Harvard personally, there are so many people that change their majors very often because you don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that's what's so awesome about a liberal arts university. You can try out new classes, try out new things, and even pursue things that you think you never would have pursued. So I would just say, if you have an aspiration, a dream, for me it was the cello. I really, really went deep into it, and my parents were very supportive, despite it being a very, well, not a very cheap activity to have. Uh, I really I really felt myself change so much through music, and I wouldn't trade the experience for anything else. So that's my experience with how I found my passion and the things I did to make myself a better cellist and make myself a better musician. Hello again. In this section of the video, I'm going to be talking about advice and reflections that I have having been through the college application process myself. So firstly, make sure of all your deadlines. Colleges have a lot of deadlines, and especially as a music major, I had deadlines starting November 1st all the way up till now while I'm trying to finish enrolling into college. So deadlines are super important and they need to be met. So whatever it takes. For me, I had to write down all the deadlines for each college because I couldn't remember them very well. But if you're someone that remembers deadlines very well, then this is their time to shine. Make sure you turn everything in on time. Secondly, have one or two trusted advisors that can read over your essays and confirm that it really is you and that really shows your unique self. For me, I'm not the most natural and coherent writer all the time. So, for example, I might write something after I've been marinating it in my mind for a while, and it comes out encrypted, so it'd be really hard to understand. And my biggest sister, Juhi, was so helpful for me in revising my essays. Having been through the process herself, she's about 8 years older than I am, and she looked all over all of my essays, which totaled around 30 to 40 essays. And I'm still going to have to make up for that somehow. Maybe I'll buy her some Korean barbecue, but we'll see about that. And having been through the process for herself, she knew that the essays had to be coherent, clear, and then describe myself. It's about talking about each and your individual story. So having one or two trusted advisors that really know you well is super important when revising your essays. Try not to go around and ask everybody for essay help just because they might not know you as well, or there may be too many opinions on one of your essays. So next, be careful about managing time during your schoolwork and during the applications. I remember one of my friends who applied to more schools than I did say that he wanted separate application time during school, and I can really relate to that because essays take a long time to revise, and there are multiple essays per school. And on top of that, having to balance schoolwork is not always easy for everyone. So I needed to manage my time wisely and know that I also needed to sacrifice time in other aspects of my life to get these essays in tip-top shape. Next, don't apply to a school that you won't go to. There's a term for this, something like bullet applying or mass applying. Really research the universities that you want to go into in the perspective of your interests and what you actually want to do there. Don't just apply to 20 schools hoping you'll get in just by changing the names on each essay. You're going to need to put in the time on the essays, and you're going to need to know what exactly you want from these schools. Also, if you know more about each school, then you can write more specific school essays. The essays that are, why do you want to go to an XYZ university? And those essays are individualistic to each university, so you cannot intertrade them. You cannot apply to 20 schools with that same kind of essays just by changing the name. They're going to know. So the more time you put in, the more you'll get out of it. Next, ask for help from counselors. Ask questions, please. It's not embarrassing to ask, and make sure that you're getting all the requirements and getting all the deadlines, and making sure that your application is complete. I have asked so many questions from my counselors, from my sisters. They probably did not want to answer, but if you have trusted advisors, if you have these counselors that care, ask them, bug them, make sure that your application is complete. Next, don't compare your application with other applications, i.e., don't compare yourself with others. Do what you know how to do well and feel confident in what you have to offer. A lot of the times there will be students, at least in my experience, that go around telling everybody how many schools they're applying to. Yo, Jim, I'm applying to 20 schools. I have so much to do tonight. Or, oh, I just finished all my college essays. I'm free for the next year. And yet I'm still writing essays for the next few months. No, don't listen to what other people are doing. College application season is very individualistic and very unique because we all have different interests and we are applying to different schools. So don't get caught up in what other people are saying. Acknowledge that they are going on their own path, and also acknowledge that you are also on your own path. Next, talk to actual students that go to the university you want to apply to. As a music major, music professors is the #1 reason that I chose the universities that I did. And talking to students that are working with the professor there is the closest way to know what the professor is actually like. What kind of learning styles that they have, and what the professors actually focus on. And this can be expanded into just regular applications as well. Talk to students and you can really understand what the culture is like there, what the environment is, what students focus on, what kind of interests are there, what kind of interests aren't there. And it's a really big help to knowing, is this a good fit for myself? And lastly, start early on your applications. Start early. For all you rising seniors, June, July, August, this is the time to start brainstorming. Where do I see myself going next year? What kind of interests do I have? How do they line up with the universities that I'm looking at? Also starting to get in the mindset of I need to meet these deadlines is very important, because it's going to ramp up right away as school starts. And having finished and having been ahead right before school starts will make your schoolwork easier, because you have a lot more time. A lot more. And yeah, even applying to 10 schools with all the essays that I had, I started in late June, early July, thinking about the colleges I needed to apply to and the essays I had to write. I still finished some essays that I started in July, right before the a New Year's deadline. It really is different for each person, so a good general rule is to start early, and starting is really the hardest part. I just want to say good luck to each of you. For all the rising seniors, don't be stressed out. Keep your head screwed on straight, and dig into those interests that you have, and continue working hard in your academics. Choose schools wisely. Think about them. Don't just think about the prestige, but think about the underlying interests, the underlying opportunities that you get at these specific universities. And also, for all those middle school and underclassmen and juniors out there, keep working hard in school. Don't stress about college just yet. You still have a few years left. And continue working hard, and think about what kind of career path you may or may not want to take. So thank you again for inviting me to speak. It was really a pleasure. I wish you guys all the best, and enjoy the rest of your session. Thank you.